America's most consumed side dish, the one sitting on 75% of every restaurant menu in this country, has never been French. Not the origin, not the technique, not a single ingredient. The country that actually invented the French fry has spent 100 years watching America take full credit. And the reason the name stuck has nothing to do with food. It has everything to do with a war, a language, and a mistake that nobody ever bothered to fix. The French fry was born in Belgium, specifically in the Meuse Valley, a stretch of river towns in southern Belgium where, in the late 1600s, local villagers had developed a precise habit for surviving winter. When the river froze and fishing became impossible, they took potatoes, cut them into thin strips shaped like the small fish they could no longer catch, and fried them in lard. A survival technique, a peasant's substitution for protein. That substitution, invented in a Belgian village during a frozen winter, is now consumed at a rate of 4.5 billion pounds per year in the United States alone. The most American food in history was never American, and it was never French either. But if Belgium invented it, there is only one question worth asking. How did a Belgian peasant's fry become permanently attached to France in the American imagination? And why has nobody corrected the record in over 100 years? The history begins not with a recipe, but with a geography problem. The Meuse Valley runs through what is now southern Belgium and northern France. In the 17th century, the people of this valley were poor. They ate what the river gave them. Small fried fish, petites frites, were a staple of the diet. When winter arrived and the river froze solid, the fish disappeared entirely. The potato, which had arrived in Europe from South America only decades earlier, provided the answer. A 1781 manuscript discovered in a Belgian archive, written by a local priest named Abbé Beauvais, contains what historians believe is the first documented reference to fried potato strips in the Meuse Valley. He describes the local population cutting potatoes in the manner of fish and frying them in fat during winter months. This is not mythology. This is a primary source, written 35 years before the first American cookbook ever mentioned fried potatoes in any form. By the early 1800s, the technique had spread across Belgium. Street vendors in Brussels were selling fried potatoes from carts in the city's main squares. Thomas Jefferson encountered fried potatoes during his time in France as American ambassador in the 1780s. He wrote about them in his personal notes, describing potatoes fried in the French manner. But Jefferson's phrase referred to a French culinary technique, the Julienne cut, a method of slicing vegetables into thin, uniform strips. Not a country of origin, a knife technique that French kitchens had formalized. Jefferson brought the recipe back to Monticello. He never called them French fries. Here is the fact that explains the name. In 1917, American soldiers arrived in Belgium and northern France. They encountered fried potatoes being sold by street vendors, hot, crispy, served in newspaper cones at the side of the road. They had never tasted anything like them. They asked what they were. The vendors spoke French. The soldiers heard French. They were standing in several documented cases in Belgium. They went home calling them French fries. That is the entire origin of the name. Not a French chef, not a Parisian kitchen, not a culinary tradition. A language misunderstanding in a war zone by soldiers who couldn't distinguish French-speaking Belgium from France itself. The name traveled home with a generation of young Americans and entered the national vocabulary permanently, irreversibly, as if it had always been there. Belgium has been trying to correct this since at least 1985, when the country began an international campaign to rename them Belgian fries. In 2014, Belgium formally applied to UNESCO to have the Belgian fry tradition recognized as cultural heritage, describing it in the application as a symbol of Belgian identity forged over 3 centuries. UNESCO granted the recognition in 2023. The United States did not change a single menu. Belgium got the UNESCO recognition. America got the $24 billion industry. And the story of how a Belgian peasant's winter meal became the structural backbone of the American fast food economy is, without question, the most American story ever told. French fries entered American diners in the 1920s and spread through the 1930s and 40s. They were cheap to produce, fast to prepare, and they paired with everything Americans were already eating: burgers, sandwiches, eggs. By 1945, they were standard on nearly every diner menu from Maine to California. The salt, the fat, the texture, everything about the fried potato was engineered by coincidence to satisfy the American palate at scale. No food scientist planned it, no marketing campaign created it. It simply fit. Then Ray Kroc happened. When McDonald's began its national expansion in the mid-1950s, the French fry became a standardized industrial product for the first time in its 300-year history. Kroc was obsessed with the fry. He spent years perfecting a formula, the specific Idaho russet Burbank potato variety, oil temperature held at precisely 335 degrees Fahrenheit, exact fry time to the second. He called the fry almost sacrosanct in his autobiography. By 1970, McDonald's was the largest single purchaser of potatoes in the United States. What Kroc understood, and what Belgium had no framework to imagine, was that Americans didn't want the artisan Belgian frite. They wanted a fry that tasted identical in Miami and Minneapolis. A fry that a 16-year-old on their first shift could produce to the same specification as a 20-year veteran. The Belgian fry was a living craft, fried twice in beef tallow in a family stand in Brussels, varying slightly from vendor to vendor. The American fry was an engineering problem, and Kroc solved it with the precision of a manufacturing executive, not a chef. Here is the reframe. Belgium invented the fry, America industrialized it, and in doing so, America produced something that is not better or worse than the Belgian original. It is simply different in a way that reveals everything about how this country processes culture. Belgium kept the fry artisanal, regional, personal. Each vendor had their own recipe, their own fat, their own potato. America made it universal, reproducible, predictable. One approach preserved a 300-year tradition. The other fed a planet. McDonald's now operates in 119 countries. In every one of them, the French fry on the menu follows a specification developed in a test kitchen in Illinois, using an Idaho potato variety, fried in oil processed in Iowa. There is no Belgium in that sentence. There is no France. There is only America doing what America does, taking something from somewhere else, optimizing it beyond recognition, and exporting it as if it were always theirs. The Belgians are not wrong to be frustrated, but they are also not wrong when they say that their fry is better. Fried twice in beef fat, served in a paper cone with mayonnaise, the Belgian frite is, by any serious culinary standard, superior to its American industrial cousin. It is also consumed by approximately 11 million people. The American version is consumed by 300 million, and by several billion more around the world who have never once heard of Belgium. Your grandmother put French fries on the table without once thinking about the Meuse Valley. Your father ordered them at a drive-thru without knowing that the word French in the name referred to a cutting technique, not a country. You have eaten them hundreds of times under a name that is historically inaccurate, attributing them to a country that had nothing to do with their invention, without any of that history changing how they taste. That is not ignorance. That is America's specific relationship with food and with history. America consumes first and investigates origins never. It names things wrong, standardizes them completely, sells them to the world, and then defends the name as if it were sacred. And when Belgium shows up with a UNESCO certificate in 300 years of documentation, America orders another large fries and moves on. The French fry is the perfect symbol of that process because it does it so honestly. The name is wrong. The origin is forgotten. The inventor is unrecognized. And the product is, by every measurable standard, the most successfully distributed food item in the history of human civilization. Belgium has the history, America has the world. Belgium invented the fry, France got the name, America forgot both, and sold them to everyone else. If you just looked at a menu item you've ordered 1,000 times and saw it differently, that is exactly what this channel does. Every video on history served takes one food you've eaten your entire life and shows you the history that nobody taught you. The real history, the one with the frozen Belgian river, the World War soldier, and the test kitchen in Illinois. Subscribe right now, because the next video covers a food that sits in 97% of American refrigerators. You think you know where it came from. You don't.